My name is Eileen Murphy, and I am the founder and CEO of ThinkCERCA. I spent about 15 years in the classroom in Chicago Public Schools, where I was a high school English teacher. Had a chance to start a school in the year 2000 where we had kids sitting next to each other who sometimes went to bed hungry and others who went to Telluride like every weekend. Okay, so it was a huge gap. And between a really talented group of teachers and a school leader who understood the value of literacy as the one thing that would make a difference in their educational lives, we were able to close the outcomes gap. When I went to the district, where I was the director of curriculum and instruction for 115 schools in Chicago, I went with my books and workshops and was like, okay, let's teach 10,000 teachers and principals all about these new standards. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. And unfortunately, what I realized from that position that there were actually 3.8 million teachers trying to do these new standards, new assessments for which they were being held accountable, and 55 million students who, along with their parents, were depending on these teachers to make sure they were ready for the 21st century. All of our assessments had aligned to these new skills, the kinds of things that Aristotle was teaching, by the way, critical reading, critical thinking, content area writing, except that instead of doing really rote skills, we were really assessing them in high-stakes assessments. It was at that point that technology was also hitting schools. And despite the huge adoption of technology, our scores were remaining flat and in some cases going down. Why? Because they were kind of subtracting a couple of really important things. One, the ability to think when there isn't an exact one right answer. And two, the ability to consume complex information with open-ended questions and the ability to express your point of view. That's what we do. I mean, how many of you searched Google today? How many of you wrote an email that could have really big impact on your business or your personal life? Those kinds of skills you can't learn in a multiple choice question. We have to be able to consume complex information, think about it critically, and express our point of view effectively. That's what it means to be college, career, and civic ready, and personally ready for our complex world. And so we developed a platform that was based on a framework, which was successful on paper, and is now translated into a scalable platform where we really focus on helping kids be able to make a claim, support it with evidence, explain their reasoning clearly, address counter-arguments civilly, and use language that appeals to their audience. We made a technology that actually leverages the two reasons why kids come to school, and that's the other kids and the teacher. So it's a school-wide platform that superintendents use to make sure that there is equitable access to universal curriculum, that principals can use to make sure their whole team is on the same literacy team for every student and has visibility into whether or not something is working for their students and resources to point teachers to when it's not. And for students, they have social learning. They're not sitting in a cubicle answering questions. They're actually having debates with their peers and Socratic discussions. Despite one of the previous presentations, we were actually really excited to be on the state adoption list for Texas as one of the only startups, I think, ever to make it onto that list. We're one of 9 curriculums that can be purchased over the next 8 years. So we are really excited to be working with Texas districts. We also have supplemental literacy products for all the other content areas. And we have, I think, some of the most exciting and innovative technology that we've developed provides an actual map of literacy, the most granular subskills and concepts. We see it all the time in math. It's never been done in literacy until now. And so that's our actual new product. So you can actually see and really pinpoint what students know and are able to do and see it on a continuum. So we can differentiate with one click. We provide a ton of teaching resources to improve not just teaching, or not just learning, but also teaching. And most importantly, our biggest value proposition is that we deliver predictable results. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but I am flashing them so you know we actually have them. I'm just going to tell you about one. This one is one that really makes me proud because this is about 5,000 middle school students in the state of Georgia. Where historically, year after year, despite all of these turnaround efforts, they were getting 1 point in gains per year. Last year, on average, they got 17 points on average in every school. You can see where they were getting negative growth and got 12 points of growth. You can see where they achieved even up to 22 points in growth. This superintendent is now National Superintendent of the Year. Yay, he's a great evangelist for us. And we have another one who's been pretty supportive as well, and that is Bill Gates, who has recognized our efficacy over other products. And in fact, we show that in addition to that 2 years of predictable growth, we actually have 4 times more growth than the next highest performing product. And that's why big districts across the US are partnering with us, and for significant amounts of their budget. So we are core initiatives in many of these districts, including about 40% of the top 100 districts. We also have a distribution partnership with one of our strategic investors, Follett, largest global distributor of K-12 content in the world. And more recently, we've partnered with TAL Education Group, second largest tutoring company in China, and with other tutoring companies in China have also leveraged our ThinkCERCA teachers who teach by day in our districts and who teach either early in the morning or on the weekends Chinese learners across the globe. And we've already heard about the fact that 1 in 4 people on Earth are learning English. And I don't think they're going to stop at functional illiteracy, basic English. They really want what we're teaching, which is this very sophisticated college and career-ready level of English, and I believe we're the only provider of it. So we're really excited about our potential, not only in the US K-12 system and our current district focus, but also on higher education, international, expanding down to earlier childhood, virtual tutoring, and additional subjects and courseware that can be used in professional learning as well. So again, my name is Eileen Murphy. We have a pretty amazing team, but I'm out of time, so you can just know that we do. And feel free to reach out if you're interested in talking about partnership. Thank you.